We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Bellisio Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers today. That's BellisioFoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Bellisio Foods.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. And, of course, Jennifer here to start off our morning with James K. Kenneth Hamilton in the house.
'Tis I.
Hi, I.
Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
We are starting the day off with some
bad news.
Traffic news. Their major crash, North Benton County.
Yes.
State Route 93 is closed. Both lanes are closed. This is beyond Schruts Road and Woodgeard Road.
Say that again.
Woodgeard.
Woodgeard Road. Okay.
Yeah, so this is North Benton County, almost in Hocking County.
Yes.
Both lanes, State Route 93, are closed.
Yes.
We were told it is a 2-car accident and that it is very serious.
All right. So if you are traveling, in fact, we had a guest scheduled this morning who would have to have come that way, and she was not able to navigate the road there, make it through. So, again, traffic accident, very, very serious, north of MacArthur, north of North Benton County, and 2 vehicles involved, very serious, and the road is completely closed as of right now. So, I don't even know the alternative route to that.
Yeah, it's a lot of country roads.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you're local and are familiar with that area. But if you are coming from this direction, headed to Logan, headed to Lancaster, something like that, probably ought to seek an alternative route and tell your ways to take you a different way.
And then just keep your eyes on the Telegram, Facebook, and the website. As soon as the Highway Patrol releases a statement, they will have it.
That's right. And we'll, if the road happens to open back up and we get the information, we'll let you know as well.
Yes.
While we're here, because we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. And once again, there is the map there of the crash, so you can see there. Not good.
No.
Nope. We don't ever like to report those things.
No.
We've had way too many of those lately.
Yeah, last weekend was pretty bad.
Last weekend was a very, very rough weekend here in the county, and we'd be very happy to not have to report anything like that anymore. So please be careful out there, be vigilant, and slow down a little bit. So, but thank you for bringing that over.
Well, thank Jeremiah Schaefer. He found that information. He found that map and stuff for us. He's really good at keeping up with those traffic advisories.
He's got it going on, doesn't he?
Yeah, he knows how to find that stuff.
That's right. Hey, don't forget, Gallia County Fair continues on this week, and I'll tell you at least the featured entertainment for tonight. What is today? Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday.
Oh, today is Exile Day.
Yeah. So is that like an 80s band? Or is it a country band?
Oh, for the love of Pete. Brett, do you know who Exile is?
I don't. Can we look it up?
Well,
yes. Is it an
Dance
80s band? Yes. And is it a country band? Yes.
Well, then, yeah, I was right.
But you didn't even know. Woke Up in Love, She's a Miracle, Don't Want to Be a Memory. There are many. It's one of those where they sang 100 songs that you probably know that you don't know that you know.
Probably don't know.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think I know.
So Exile tonight at the Gallia County Fair, along with the field stock tractor and semi-pull.
Yeah?
The turd will not be entered in that one
No,
because it won't even start, let alone pull something.
No.
But
So Brian Vance Man,
yes,
has been out at the Gallia County Fair for us all week.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I told this story on the air. Maybe I did. This just cracked me up. One day, like last Thursday or Friday, I see him driving up Main Street in Jackson in the Rendezvous. I think he's on his way back. On his way back to the station.
Oh,
no, pulls right into the auto parts store.
Right. That's where
wasn't going to make it to Galfloods.
The Rendezvous spends 90% of its time in the shop and 10% of its time here in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Maybe 5% in the parking lot, 5% out on the road.
Yeah, it spends more time in the O'Reilly parking lot than our parking lot.
Yes, that's exactly right. But that's a whole other story. All right. So City of Jackson Police Chief Brett Hinsch is here, and we're going to talk about how to navigate four-way stops.
Yeah. All right. I will get out of the way and let Chief Hinsch take my spot.
Love it. Thank you, James, for the update on the traffic. Come on over, Chief. And he said, what would you like to talk about? I said, how to turn left at a four-way stop.
I think there's a lot of people that could probably use some help on that.
No, listen, and in all seriousness, you learn when you're 16 or 15 now, I guess, you get this permit book, and you learn all of these traffic rules, and you have to take a test, and hopefully you pass that test, and then they all just go out of your brain, and you just drive how you think you should drive. Yeah. And that's probably, we all could use like driving 101 course.
I've always thought that they should add how to text properly and drive, because you just see them doing it all the time. It's something that, we do see a lot more rear end crashes, and we attribute a lot of that to a lot of these drivers, adults, teenagers, all texting and driving, having that mobile device. You can actually see a lot of times they're trying to pay attention, and they're on their device, maybe stopped in traffic, and then maybe somebody turns right in this line of traffic, and so the rest of traffic scoots up about a car length, but their brain tells them that the light must have turned green, so it's time to go, and then they bump it. We see so many of those, and so it is something that we do try to enforce a little bit more nowadays, but we do have 5 major intersections in the downtown that are about to change here in the next week or so as we get those.
We do. Number one, James. So thank you, James. He actually literally physically drove out and took pictures of the intersections so that we can show them, which I thought was really, really cool, because that's what James does, because he's awesome.
Those must be exciting photos.
I know, right?
They are. There are a lot of people on their way to work wondering what I was doing.
But could we, before we talk about what the intersections are, could we talk about perhaps how we came to? I mean, like, for example, growing up when I was in high school, all we did was cruise because we had nothing else to do. And you got stuck at the red lights downtown, and then they put the no left turn sign up because they didn't want people cruising anymore. And so on and so forth, which I don't think kids cruise anymore. So therefore the no left turn sign came down.
I don't see that. I don't see the cruise loop returning anytime soon with gas prices.
No, not with $5 a gallon. But could we talk for a minute about, as far as I can remember, downtown Jackson has had, red lights at all the corners. So
well,
where did we come to the fact that we're going to change the traffic pattern a little bit?
A lot of this came up as the city working with the state to get 93 paved all the way through town, which I think everybody's excited about.
Yes.
Driving here this morning, I'm excited about as that happens. But the state actually had some suggestions to take out some of the traffic lights that existed, and they made their recommendations. And so some of those were even the downtown Main Street and Church, Main Street and Columbia, Main Street, and they even, I think, suggested Main Street and Broadway. Becoming a four-way stop, And so but the recommendations with that were to take out several of the parking spaces to allow for a clean line of sight as you approach that intersection. And so the city We're already limited enough on downtown parking. It's
I don't know about that.
hard enough to find something downtown to park in. And so it actually cost the city a little bit extra with their contribution to the paving project to retain those parking spaces and keep the signals that are along Main Street there, which I'm in total agreement with it. We need those. There's roughly 260 spaces in the general downtown area, and they're filled up a good bit through the day.
We need those
which
spaces.
Which I think is
great.
good. It is great. It means people are visiting downtown businesses. And so it's something the city was adamant that they wanted to keep and not take away anything else. So they're keeping those lights, even with a little bit extra cost. But as we started to evaluate some other intersections, I don't know. I mean, I live here. I travel these intersections all the time. There's two on Pearl. So it's Pearl and Broadway, Pearl and Portsmouth.
Yes.
And then if you shift a little bit more to the west, it's Portsmouth and Broad and Broadway. And those four intersections are controlled by lights. And we haven't had a lot of crashes at those intersections. But we feel like there's a lot of times there's one car waiting at that intersection and you're waiting for 20, 25 seconds.
Yes. Hey, there's one right there where we were yesterday, right in front of the Lillian Jones Museum.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've come to that intersection. I've been the only one there through a light cycle. Yes. And so much of the day. Stop signs regulate an intersection, I think, in my opinion, better as long as people adhere to it. Because nobody then is trying to beat a light. So I think it reduces some speed because you have to stop.
Yes.
So there's no sense, I saw it and I'm 4 blocks away and maybe if I really step on it, I can make this light and not have to wait.
Yep.
So I think it helps reduce that a little bit.
Okay.
And if everybody stops, then if there's a collision in an intersection, there really shouldn't be anybody traveling at a real high speed.
More fender bender-ish.
It's a little bit of damage and everybody gets to go home safely. And, that's what we're really all about. People forget the police don't work traffic to generate tickets and generate ticket money and productivity. We work traffic to make sure the roadways are safe for people to travel. And I think that gets overshadowed a lot, that we're not just out to write tickets. We need people to comply with the traffic laws because if everybody complies with the traffic laws, everybody gets to go home safely.
And we had our friends from the State Highway Patrol in not too long ago, and they said exactly the same thing. Our job is not to sit out here and be mean and write you tickets.
Right.
We don't want you driving 100 miles an hour down the highway because that is not safe.
And
if you do, it's your own fault.
And people make mistakes. We do a lot of traffic encounters that don't result in tickets, that result in warnings, and it's educational. And those are, I think, very, very beneficial. And I think the citizen usually leaves with a friendly encounter of, hey, you kind of messed up, but we're going to, cut your break. Let's just try to not do that in the future. And so that's kind of the way I prefer to do it under most circumstances. I think there'll be a lot of citizens that'll tell you, I got stopped, I didn't get a ticket. But it's the repeat offenders. It's the ones that are doing something really hazardous at times or that have had multiple stops.
Sure.
Because there's just no adherence to the law. And so we need to make sure that happens. So we're doing four-way stops at those 4 intersections that I listed, which I think won't contribute to more crashes. I think it will slow people down. There's a lot of kids that live in those areas. So there's kids playing. It just slows down somebody who maybe turns from Cardo's onto Portsmouth Street and has, I don't know, what is that, about a quarter mile from one end to the other. Instead of them trying to go 45 miles an hour on a 25 mile an hour street to make that light so they don't have to stop. They know they're going to stop. Just go down, stop. Probably won't be anybody else, and you'll get to go, continue on your path. So not super exciting stuff, but it is a change. And people don't deal well with change.
I'm just going to tell you, the craziest thing I have ever seen, and I'll bet you still combat this, is the light in front of, at the corner of Lewis Gillum Funeral Home and CVS and all of that, where they put that turn lane in.
Yes.
And then there's a green arrow light, and people still can't navigate that, and it's been years now.
I know. It's clearly marked on the roadway. We returned it back to what is a normal pattern of travel for that type of intersection. And yeah, people, I've witnessed it myself. People that just
we're all creatures of habit.
Yes, we are.
And I'm not I'm not saying that I'm not one and you're not one. So so that's why we wanted to have you come in today and talk about the changes, and because we are creatures of habit, and what's going to what y'all need to do when you encounter these four-way stops.
Well, the service director, David Swackhammer, and I, we've talked about this stuff multiple times. We've also included the street and alley supervisor, Roy Hatton.
Uh-huh.
And what the plan is we're going to turn the flashing signal to red flashing all four directions, probably at least till Labor Day, maybe through the Apple Festival, just as the indicator and the reminder this intersection has changed. And hopefully by early or late fall, early winter, we're going to have those signals completely removed, and they will be replaced with the stop signs. So those are going up, I think, within the week.
Okay.
And the signals will be flashing red. A reminder to everybody, flashing red means you stop and treat that intersection as a stop sign. Flashing yellow is to proceed continuously with caution. That goes for sometimes there's power outages that will flick those lights.
Yes.
There are times where they're set that way for parade routes or some major piece of equipment coming through so that it doesn't have to stop. I mean, there have been a few times that we've had to go and manually change those lights, but you do see people get confused. I don't know if you ever come to one of those intersections that typically has a normally functioning traffic signal, and it's flashing yellow one side, flashing red, and everybody's usually stopping and being
that's
cautious.
The thing. Just stop. If you don't know, err on the side of stop.
Err on the side of caution. But there are aggressive and defensive drivers out there. And sometimes when you get too aggressive drivers, a lot of times that's where you get the problem.
It becomes the good old-fashioned peeing contest, if you will. Yes. I'm going to go first.
They're not, like I say, it's not super exciting stuff, but it is a change. And I do think it's a change that'll be beneficial for everybody's efficiency. I think it'll make things safer, and it'll be a little bit more cost-effective even for the city as we remove those traffic signals, and those traffic signals that don't eventually have to be replaced or maintained. It's a lot easier to maintain a stop sign. So.
Right on. So there is one there by the corner pub, and so that is the corner of, Broadway and Pearl.
Pearl and Broadway.
Yes.
Pearl and Portsmouth.
Pearl and Portsmouth Streets.
Yes.
Broad and Portsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
Broad and Broadway.
Yep.
High and State.
That's the one that I've never understood.
Okay, so High and State is...
You want to talk about crickets sitting at a red light.
It has times, especially, and this one is one that, we're going to kind of observe and watch for a while.
Okay.
As Westview School kicks back up, and that's where that's going to be the most concerning, is, what a lot of people don't understand is when you change one thing, it can really affect how things go further down the line.
Okay, sure.
For instance, changing this to a stop sign may mean there's a continuous flow during that school time, making it nearly impossible to pull out at Pearl and Bridge over near where Giovanni's is, which is, a good distance away, because there's just going to be this continuous flow of traffic that'll have the right of way. That intersection too will be changing, the one over near Giovanni's in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Which is State, Bridge, and Walnut.
It's a weird triangle.
It is. It's one of those that was probably invented before automobiles.
I'm like, only in small town America do intersections like that happen. We also have a 5-way stop in Jackson.
Yes, we do have a 5-way.
Which is where I grew up, and it's very confusing as well.
So, that intersection at High and State is one, again, I live very, very close to there. I watch people come up the hill from Main Street on High Street and see a green light and really step on it.
Yep.
And I see them go on State Street that way. I think it will slow traffic down on State. There are a lot of kids that play on, in yards along State Street.
Yeah.
On High Street, Bennett, Chestnut. I think it helps all of those residences there not have that. And, especially if you have to listen to loud vehicles idle while they sit there for 30 seconds or so, you're not going to hear that. There's just going to be a continuous flow of traffic. And that's what we want. We want a continuous, safe flow of traffic. So we're hoping that we're right.
And that's the thing. And if it's not, if it doesn't work out, then we'll change it back.
You can always change it back. Yeah,
you know,
you can always change it back. But I really don't think that's where we're going to go with it. I think it's going to increase that because, like I said, as everybody knows that they have to just stop and then get to proceed through the intersection in their time. I think it makes it more efficient. I don't think you're going to hear nearly the complaints. And so we're excited to see the change.
All right. And when will that be starting?
We're starting to work on that this week.
Okay.
The Street and Alley has been, they've just been working all kinds of I don't know how they're getting it all done. They're getting curbs done in preparation for this much anticipated paving of Main Street.
Yes.
And traffic's, I'll tell you what, it's really nice to drive on some of these newer streets.
It is.
It's a relief, isn't it?
Honestly, yes, it is. And but again, slow down because because it's smooth doesn't mean you drive fast.
We
those were built-in speed bumps before.
We've issued some speeding citations recently. We had, the department is really kicking into a multidimensional phase where we're able to handle a lot of criminal complaints, work a little bit of traffic, and deal with some of the more serious complaints that come in. Felony level things, and make sure people are available for court and that shifts are covered and that we don't have somebody working by themselves like we had a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's not good.
As much, I'm not going to say that there's never a time that happens, but it's usually at what we consider pretty dead times, and we have a contingency plan for to get some other help should something serious occur at one of those times.
Gotcha.
So we have been ramping some things up. Our call record numbers have significantly increased. Call records can be officer generated. They can be complaint generated, like somebody calling in or somebody reporting something. Those have increased significantly. We, I think, ended up with 103 or 104 arrests, which an arrest, in our statistics, arrest is anytime even a citation's written. So a stop sign violation is still technically, by our statistic, an arrest. It's an issued charge.
Okay.
And so we had 103 of those last month. We haven't had a month where we've had over 100 for at least 3 years.
Okay.
So things are... that doesn't necessarily mean things are great. I wish those were business numbers that, everything's increased a little bit.
Right.
But what I'm really proud of is the way we're policing right now. It gets us out. The public sees us a lot. I think anybody with criminal intent sees us a lot, which is beneficial because I think a lot of times they just decide to go home. Because our violent crime is minimal here.
See, and you were telling me that, and that's the best news.
Yes, yes, we don't have a ton of violent crime here. We never really have. I think we live in a relatively moral area of the country.
I think so.
And so that in and of itself is helpful. But we don't have a lot of the bad elements that can exist elsewhere that come and prey upon people who like to follow the law and maybe they perceive as vulnerable. This is not a vulnerable population that we have here either.
Don't mess with Granny.
But so our violent crime's been down. One of the statistics that just really surprised me as I did kind of a mid-year evaluation is we haven't had a house burglarized yet this year.
Can you believe that?
There's not been. There have been a couple business B&E attempts. Very minimal loss. I attribute that not just to the way we're policing. I think, it helps that there's, compared to when I first started, there are a lot of businesses with cameras, real-time cameras, people getting alerts on their phones, alarm systems, just better communications and technology. And I think that that's helped deter a lot of that.
Sure.
So there's still a drug problem here. There's always going to be a drug problem, but
there's no answer to that. If
there isn't, but that doesn't mean that you should give up on it.
No, agreed.
We obviously encourage people to get help. There are a lot of resources out there for people to get help with drug issues. We're still going to occasional overdoses. We're still using Narcan. We don't mind doing that a bit, but we prefer to never have to.
Yeah.
Because we know that, there are a lot of people that can get kind of hardened to that. Like, these people made their choice, just let them go. And that's not a philosophy that I'm in favor of. It affects not only that person, it affects potentially they have children, potentially they have, family members that really care about them. So we've that number is not going down, but it's not going up significantly either. So I guess that's good
Well,
news.
if we can live with the, I guess, status quo of that, then
If there was nothing, then there'd be no need for us.
Right.
Right? Wouldn't it be great in a world where there was no need for police, not just people wanting to get rid of the police, but
just no need in general.
No need,
that
because
would be
everybody just does what they're supposed to do.
I mean, I'm not understanding why that's so hard, but I was just having this discussion with somebody yesterday, a local business person, and he said, I just don't understand why following the law is that hard. And I said, I don't know
It's
either.
really not. One of the things that I always kind of laugh about, in this business, you talk to people who are sometimes repeat offenders, and they're petty crimes, minor crimes, but you get to know these people and you almost have friendly conversations with them.
They're just ornery.
And they're always like, I can't wait to get off probation. I can't wait to get off probation. And I'm always like, probation's really not any different. I mean, probation just gives you a set of rules that basically says you need to really follow society's laws. You shouldn't you can't commit crimes when you're on probation. They're like, I can't wait to get off probation. Like, it's not going to make it okay.
No, it's still,
I mean,
that doesn't
I guess,
make your bad things
I guess
legal.
the way I live my life is pretty similar to a person on probation. I mean, I have to check in. I have to do. I mean, I'm accountable to people.
Yes.
And so, I can't. I just can't go do illegal drugs and go to work the next morning or steal cars or, you just can't do that stuff. So, yeah, it's one of those comical things that we find, but.
I love your attitude because I mean, if you come in and you're all stuffy about stuff all the time, you would just lose your mind. So you have to just kind of go with it.
I've never been accused of being too professional or not having a sense of humor about some of what we deal with, and some of what we deal with is very, very serious.
It is,
and it's traumatic, and it's and cops they just get hardened to that.
Yeah,
and you because you got to be able to go deal with a death scene, and then you're still going to have to eat lunch. And so, unfortunately, we can sometimes seem like we're just robotic, and we're not.
Or superheroes.
And some people's tool for coping with some of the traumatic things that we see is humor. Sometimes misplaced and inappropriate, but we try to not make that anything other than something behind closed doors. But
sure,
I mean, that's just me being honest, and that's one thing.
No, I think
I've
that's
always been
great. That makes you real.
Yes, I've been upfront, and so we're. Don't really know what else to really report. We do. Have you met the canine yet?
The Jackson one, James. I don't think so.
I don't think I've had Justin Sizemore in his
no,
canine arc
we
yet.
have. I know where
I had the canine from the highway patrol, and we had the Wilson School Resource canine.
Why I was getting confused is I went to the open house that the mayor had, and he was there.
Yes.
So I got to meet him, but he hasn't been here. So can he come here?
He can come here at some point. I have
Very
no
good.
problem with that. He likes to do
great.
some PR stuff.
Yeah, that's why I got I had to stop and think for a minute.
We have, I think we have a pretty good crew of people. We've got some young people. We've got a couple old school people that are trying to corral the younger, newer officers and teach them how to be great cops.
Yeah.
But I feel pretty confident we've got a good bunch. And if you have issues or problems, we want you to call. We want to investigate it. We want to help people. That's everybody. I've never met anybody who got in this profession who didn't say part of what they wanted to get in here for was to help people and contribute to society. And that's what I think, mainly our directive is. One of the things I implemented when I became chief was a call record that denotes I think we have it listed as act of kindness. And those are things that an officer may see that they don't have to do. They're not required to do. It's not really even part of our duties. But let me give you a for instance. I'm at an intersection one time, one of the intersections that's changing. I'm waiting at the red light, nothing else to do.
Because there's nothing else to do because you're stuck at the red light.
And I see this old man mowing grass. He's got a collared shirt on, dress pants. I mean, and he looked like he was struggling restarting his mower. And so as soon as the light turned green, I just made a left-hand turn, parked along the curb, and I said, "You need help getting that started?" And he goes, "Oh my gosh, yes." So I got out, helped the guy start his lawnmower, and I said, "Now don't let go of this because it'll shut off, and I'm going to be gone.
I'm not here anymore."
And those kinds of things, those are the rewarding parts of it, because he was extremely appreciative. He was able to complete what he was doing. I appreciate the fact. I hope I'm mowing when I'm that age.
Correct.
I hope I feel that good at that age. But he just struggled a little bit, and those are the types of things that I think police officers need to do more. There are times we have to be like soldiers. There are times we have to go in and do things that are serious and dangerous. But there are a lot of times that you're just out there and you're an observer of the public and things that go on there. There's people that, have flat tires. Get out and help them change it.
Yes.
Strong. I mean, if somebody gets, you get dirty, you get hot, you get sweaty. Another thing I changed was I let them wear shorts this summer if they wanted to.
Like Reno 911.
Listen, everybody's like,
I heard some people talking about this the other day, and I've not seen it.
I didn't wear them today. I debated.
Jen just had.
I debated wearing it, but let me
only
tell
if
you.
they do like the knee socks.
So think about
No,
this.
I'm just kidding.
People are like, you look like beach patrol. Well, we have beach weather. It's when it's 88% humidity and it's
today,
92 degrees. Yes,
it's
miserable.
scary hot. Like there's heat advisory warnings.
The thing about police uniforms, it's the one thing they don't technologically mess with too much, but they're hot. They're like, I always call it a failed NASA material, because from like 65 degrees and on, they don't let anything breathe. So 65 degrees and up, it just retains all the heat. When it's below 65, it feels like you're not wearing anything. Wind's just blowing right through it. And it's relatively, you're asking officers to wear relatively the exact same uniform that you wear when it's 12 below zero as when it's 92 degrees.
Yes.
And so a couple things are factored in. The shorts through the summer. I encourage my officers to get out and interact with people a little bit more than we have in the past.
Sure.
And so it's a little less militaristic looking. With these vests that are now the kind of the way that they're doing things, you can kind of look a little militaristic, and it softens it a little bit. Maybe makes you more approachable to younger children and teenage kids, a little bit more relatable. But the thing is comfort.
Yeah.
I've worked plenty of summers where I'm just want to hurry up and get back to my air-conditioned car, get back to the air-conditioned station, because I'm just hot. And once you get that, heat build up, it's hard to get rid of it as you're wearing multiple layers. And so, some T-shirts, some shorts, they still look official, still want people to wear their protective vests and have all their equipment, but it has a softened look. It makes us a little bit more approachable. And think about this, officers who you ever get too overheated and then you get a little bit more irritable?
Yeah.
I don't want my guys irritable when you're dealing with issues. So it's something I told them. I said, we're going to try it this year. We'll see how it works. Hopefully we don't get too many skinned knees, but we're not running through the woods and thorns too often here. So it's been
only on Kenneth Sims Day.
I haven't required anybody to wear it, but I did make it as part of a uniform of the day. Should somebody choose to do that?
Yeah.
But, I'm always looking for
not? I think it's great.
Innovative ways to try to make things better for the officers. Because if you have happy employees, you typically get better work productivity. So
it's amazing how that works.
Yeah, I know that. I should write a book about that, right? Nobody's ever thought of that.
No one. I mean, you wonder sometimes, don't you?
You do. But, gosh, I don't know. What else can I talk about? We're still waiting on cars. This supply chain thing. We ordered a car.
Crazy.
We ordered a car in late January, early February, and we may get it by December is what they tell us. We may get it by December.
So a year, maybe.
Because, without wheels in our business, you're kind of dead in the water.
I mean, last time I checked, y'all don't have any horses or motorcycles or,
I think people are going to see us out a little bit more as school comes back in. We've talked to Superintendent Phil Howard. He's requested a little bit extra presence.
That's one of my preaches. So, kids go back to school, they're freaking out. They run across streets when they're not supposed to. They're just not thinking. So it's our responsibility as human beings to watch out for them.
That's right. And, there's always this transition, and I've watched this for the last 20 years. Every year when you have all this summer traffic and you haven't had school, and then boom, all of a sudden school's back in. And it's sort of back in early this year. It seems like starting earlier and earlier, but it's like August 15th this year.
It's crazy.
It's on a Monday. Those kids are going to be so burnt out by the end of the end of the week, because they're used to Wednesday nothing, Thursday nothing, Friday, oh gosh, the weekend again. But no, they're going to do a full week, but I think you'll see us out a little bit more during that time to just be that extra reminder that, listen, you got to pay attention about this in the morning, and we'll see how some of these patterns work with these intersections. Will be back to.
It will be interesting about that. And Jen preached number 2 for the day.
Preach it.
School buses.
Yeah.
Do not try to beat the school bus stop sign. There is no child's life worth you getting to wherever you need to get to the grocery store or whatever.
It's a very serious traffic offense to run a school bus stop sign.
Why on earth? I'm telling you what, I see a school bus coming at me slowing down, and I just lock it up wherever I'm at, because I'm like so afraid of that. And because kids literally have to run sometimes across the busy road in front of the bus or whatever. Just flip and stop.
Yep. Yeah, most people do. Most people do a really good job of that, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, if nothing else, the public shaming. Nobody wants to be the person that hit a kid with a stop school bus sign, right?
You will be on the front page of the paper. I'll make sure of that.
Nobody wants to be that, do they?
No. But, I mean, seriously, they're little kids, and we need to watch out for them.
Another thing we've done this year is we did get a group of guys. We sent them through basic SWAT in the spring. And so we've been ramping up. When I said multidimensional earlier, we've been ramping up trying to counter some of the drug trafficking.
Okay.
And they're better equipped, and we've worked on that too, better equipped and better capable to deal with some of those more serious threats should they occur, including anything, school-wise. And so we've kind of worked and developed some plans over the summer on, how to counter some things should that ever occur. Hope it never does. We've worked in conjunction with the sheriff's office on stuff like that. We've worked a couple joint operations with the sheriff's office. I think we've increased our communication and interoperability. We've also done some joint operations with the city of Wellston. And part of there are jurisdictional boundaries that, Jackson only has to deal with things inside our lines, and Wellston only has to deal with things inside their lines. But, as criminals travel, they don't have jurisdictional boundaries. So they may do something here and they may do something, there. Don't think that there's not people from Wellston coming to Jackson to buy drugs and then taking them back to Wellston and getting all messed up and goofy, and that the reverse is not true as well. And that there are people who are friends who live in both those communities that are, sharing their time in each other's community doing those things. And so we've increased our information back and forth to one another. Our SWAT guys have actually gone and done a couple raids in Wellston. And so if anybody,
are you allowed to? It's just
what it is. It's an interoperability. So the chief in Wellston can grant basically a commission. You can be a commissioned officer in in a lot of different jurisdictions.
Well, and that's what I was thinking too, like school related stuff. Like, I mean, the more people you could get to be on hand would
anytime
be great.
A law enforcement agency asks another law enforcement agency to come assist, you're automatically You're automatically covered. Yes. So, for instance, if the sheriff's office says, "Hey, we're really tied up on something serious right now, but there is a domestic and it's 2 miles outside of the city of Jackson, but they've asked us to go respond," then we have the authority of a deputy at that time.
Gotcha. Okay.
And, the sheriff's office obviously has jurisdictional boundaries all the way, the perimeter of Jackson County, and they can grant that. And that's a temporary grant under those situations. There are more permanent, and that's what we've kind of done with Wellston, and we're working with the sheriff's office we've had them in the past, people who are commissioned multiple places, and so they have that authority. Doesn't mean we're going to go out and work that, territory. It just means that when we do these operations, we are covered legally that we have the authority to be there.
So don't think once you get out of the city limits, you're good.
It's all semantics, yes. But so there are probably some people in Wellston that have seen some Jackson cruisers there at times.
I see.
And jointly, Chief Robinson of Wellston PD, who we've had a lot more increased communication and joint operations. They've sent some people here to assist. So we're not just giving, we're receiving some assistance as well. And so that's really kind of helped. I think that's helped get us to where we're at, where we feel like things are pretty safe here. I'm not jinxing us.
Yeah,
but
we'll knock on wood just in case, but
we're ready.
Everybody do the right thing.
Should something occur, we're ready. So I'm not inviting anybody to come test us, but
no, Ron, I'm calling you out today.
But people, listen. We could have I could walk out of here and there's 3 bad things waiting for us. But they're all problems that we'll get a resolution to. So
absolutely, and you all do, I think, a phenomenal job. You are responsive, and again, I just love your personality because. I mean, and all kidding aside, like you are approachable and we can just have a conversation. Like he walks in today and I was like, oh, cool. You have your vest on. Can we play with all the toys in it? And he just laughs. And most people would be like, no.
There's really not a lot of toys. I don't carry all that equipment.
See, dang it. He didn't bring all the toys.
But
you got a flashlight.
I have actually 2. Yeah, I have 2. I've got one there and one little one here. This one starts out red. It's good for reading IDs at night, down here, and you talk on your radio, and it goes to white. It'll do a bright, which is not bad for walking through, especially. And this one here, sometimes it dies, but they make these in red and blue, and I think I got a red and white one. But if you hold it, I guess you do that. Maybe you could pull over people walking. I don't know. You could get behind them, issue them a ticket for jaywalking.
You have to make the siren sound yourself.
You do. You can get it maybe on your phone. Play that. Maybe, yeah.
That's great.
Sorry. See, I told you nobody's going to accuse me of being professional. Yeah, there's a lot of
dude, I want to go out with you one night and just like walk up and down the street with that thing on.
We do have some ride-alongs occasionally. If you request one, fill out a form. We can put you with somebody. And
you don't. Well, it would have to. So James and I, are a team. So it has to be both of us.
One of you is going to have to ride and back. And we're not changing that. We're not changing that if we have to put somebody back there with you. You're just going to have to do it.
No, I don't like that idea.
He's shaking his head. He's like, that doesn't sound fun to me. But
the highway patrol made us the same offer, and I was equally unexcited about that.
The funny thing was the highway patrol car, the new one that we were in, it was a test car, and it didn't even have like a barrier in between. It had like built-in handcuffs.
That's great.
So you're gonna have James back there with some.
Yeah, they just stick you in the passenger seat and handcuff you to the wall.
They handcuff you to the seat.
And they deal with a lot of intoxicated people. And let me tell you something about intoxicated people who get nervous and their hands are behind their back and they're in the back of a car that doesn't have the best HVAC because of that screen. They get sick sometimes. That screen's handy. But which is then awful to have to clean up. But that's.
But at least you're not cleaning yourself up.
Yeah, it does help. But, we're.
You know what we failed to do?
What?
Chief, we failed to talk about the rules of the four-way stop.
Rules of the four-way stop.
Which is why we kind of asked you to be here to begin with.
All right, so I'll try to give this to you short.
I feel like this is like a roundabout. Roundabouts are easy. Once you're in it, you're good. You yield when you're not in it. I feel like there's very few rules. You just have to understand them.
There's a stop bar typically on the roadway near the stop sign. You have to stop behind the stop bar.
Yes.
Not halfway over it. You have to stop back there.
Not in the walkway.
If there's not a stop bar, you stop at the stop sign. You treat the stop sign as the line where you should stop. And then if multiple people show up, whoever shows up first has the right of way.
That's the thing. So whoever shows up first goes first.
Should. And then if multiple people show up at the same time, it's the person to the right has the right of way.
Okay.
And if two people show up across ways from each other, it's just a free for all.
Just again, be nice.
Just cover your eyes. And no.
Seriously, just
we don't
either wave somebody.
We
or
don't
something.
have. I mean, I bet we have 6 to 12 maximum crashes a year at four-way intersections.
Yeah,
they're really not that common, and they're unless that's with people who are really trying to do the right thing. There, probably 2. There may be somebody who just blew one, didn't see the stop sign.
Someone just blows through stop signs. I could see
if that happens, you can have a pretty nasty crash. But as far as
you need to just be vigilant driving.
Yes, so we're hoping to get people signaled out there. But I mean, the rules of the stop sign. I really hope that there's not a lot of drivers out there. We really have to hit on that. But if you have questions, call into the station, or call the sheriff's office, call the state patrol. We should put their numbers up there, not ours. Yeah. Right?
6464.
No. Anybody can call 740-286-4131.
Ted Frazier's phone number is no, just kidding.
No, wouldn't do that. But I mean, if there's questions, call.
And honestly, we're joking about that, but seriously, if you do have questions about anything, that's what you all are there for.
I have a dispatcher there 24/7, 365 days a year, and 366 on leap year. So we always have somebody that's going to answer the phone, and if they don't know, they'll find somebody that does and call you back. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's the thing about when you're the chief of a police department, it doesn't mean you know everything. It means you just are willing to find the right person who knows the answer to the question.
Yeah, and then try to herd everybody else in the right direction. But
yeah, and I've never thought that I'm the smartest guy in the room. Typically, I'm just somebody there who has an idea, and I like to listen to other people's ideas because you never know where the best idea is going to come from.
And you're right. And backing up a minute, you were talking about the fact that the veteran police officers on the force are trying to show some of the younger folks coming in, guys and girls, coming in, some tricks of the trade, whatever. And you told me a long time ago that that's how you started, and you started as a dispatcher.
Yes.
And you just tried to absorb everything you could from every human that you.
Everybody there does things just a little bit differently, and I mean legally, ethically, that morally, those things are constant, but their style and their order of doing things and how they multitask, and so you look for the things that you admire about people, and then you're like, they do a couple things that are quirky that I don't like, and so I always tried to blend the best of the people and try to get rid of some of my own bad habits by observing how other people did things better.
But that's why you're in the position that you're in today.
It's always being vigilant and just being willing to adapt and change some things. But
none of us know everything.
No.
God knows.
Every once in a while, the dog has the best idea in the room. Can you imagine that? It's usually about where we're going to eat.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
So does the dog get to go eat?
The dog gets to go sit outside and smell whatever restaurant if they're eating out somewhere. But the dog comes into the station. It's a social dog. It is.
What is girl or a boy?
It is a girl, and her name is Arka.
Arka.
She is originally from Bosnia.
Okay.
She was flown in to Chicago, and the poor dog was, in a kennel probably for about 30 days because they had to make sure the dog didn't have COVID.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
Yeah. And so when we finally got the dog it needed a lot of exercise, and
she's ready to work,
she has
man.
a lot
she's
of energy.
Ready to go.
And of course, then we got her fixed, and she was down for a couple weeks. She had some complications from that, and so she's just now back to work and full of energy.
Yeah. Don't mess with Arka.
No, you don't mess with Arka. Arka is really a good dog, and the handler, Justin Sizemore, who came to us from Gallia County Sheriff's Office, it had always been his dream to be a canine handler, and
Love that.
I think he's loving it too. And you really want somebody, because there's so much responsibility. I never wanted to be a canine officer. I never wanted all that extra work and dog hair. But,
well, it's true because you never.
You're responsible for another life.
24/7.
Yes, and then you take it home.
You don't put her in the cage at night and
No.
go home. She
No.
goes home with you.
All my pieces of equipment I can hang up on a hanger or put in a locker, and it's there ready in the same condition. It's constant work, and to keep up with the training
Sure.
with the dog, and to make sure that the dog knows what to do. And there are some legal changes that occur and it's constant work. And I admire that he wanted to take on that responsibility, and it's a huge asset and a huge benefit to us. So I would love to bring Justin and Arca sometime.
If we could have them come in, that would be fantastic. What are some of the things that you've utilized her for so far?
Well, she does a lot of article search. So like you could, and sometimes really, really cocky canine handlers will do this, but they'll just take the keys from your pocket and throw it in a grassy field that, the grass is this high. That dog will find your keys and bring them back. So they can find articles that have been touched by humans. But primarily what she does is scent detection for indication on narcotics.
Okay.
And she's not trained for marijuana, as the laws have changed on that. You don't want a dog that alerts on marijuana.
Well, if that was the case.
Well, what happens is the day that becomes legal, and there are legal times that people can be transporting that now with the way laws are.
Yes, 100%.
And so if a dog alerts, and we can't ever ask the dog, well, what did you smell? You smell marijuana, or did you smell methamphetamine? So you don't. So the legal, that legal stuff has changed since when I had first started. So you get a dog now that doesn't smell marijuana.
Because you can't untrain her to smell marijuana. I guess you could.
There are ways to do that, but can you ever guarantee that the dog's not having a day where it's recalling that? Because it is performing a function that it's trained to do. It's very reliable. Dogs smell 400 times better than humans do, at least these types of dogs. They're
She's a German Shepherd, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I always tell people the best way I can describe it is dogs smell like people see. So when you look out across this room, you can see a gray door and a coat rack and a chair and my sunglasses over there by your basketball hoop game. You see all these things at the same time. And dogs smell that way. So humans, when we smell, we typically smell the most dominant thing in the room, which
Sure.
if you're cooking chili, that's what you smell. You can't smell the candle and the chair and who was at the door last, but dogs can.
I see.
And so they smell like we see. So
because we see all of this stuff all at the same time.
And that's the best way, I think, in layman's terms, I can describe it. And so, they're looking for. It would be like, I've got you trained to alert for staplers, and you scan the room, and you can see a stapler sitting over there on that desk, and so you're going to alert.
Okay.
If I'm having you trained to get for staplers and you don't see one, then you're not going to, even though you see all this other stimulus. So they can smell methamphetamine and coffee. They can smell cocaine and an old musty towel in there. So it's a lot of people will spray colognes and things like that. The dog can smell right through that stuff because they smell like we see.
Okay.
That's the best description. But I'll let Justin tell you all about that stuff.
Would love that, and had so much fun when we went out to the Highway Patrol station because we got to meet one of their canines, and we talked a little bit about that. And people are just like, well, how do you train them? But it's like you train them because everything is a game to them, and so it's a really long process, and it takes, as you said, a lot of work.
It does,
and it's constant. So, yes, bring them in. We love puppies.
Yeah. Have you ever met a foreign dog?
The one at the Highway Patrol station.
Yeah, from a foreign country.
She came from, where was that, James?
Actually,
Germany, I think.
Germany, that's what I thought.
Actually,
too.
the war in Ukraine slowed down Arca's arrival because they were offloading and loading supplies and people and getting them other places. So the plane that they originally were going to bring Arca over on, they unloaded her and kept her in a kennel for a couple more weeks.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. But
for her, she can't stand up for herself.
We're glad to have her. She loves living here.
I'll bet she does. There's grass, so
yes.
This is so fun.
Yeah.
But, well, that is awesome. And we wanted to tell everybody how to navigate a four-way stop. And I think you did that swimmingly. So thank you.
I hope so. Like I said, any questions, call us.
What is the phone number to the Jackson Police Department?
740
Putting him on the
286-4131.
Yes.
Yeah, I've said that a lot over the years. So
That's right. And if you do have questions, or if you need something, don't hesitate to call. That's what they're here for. And
multiple phone lines.
And I've
Every fourth caller gets 2 free tickets to municipal court.
Love it. You can go there, sit all day.
Yeah, we'll give them out front row seats.
Yeah, it's
front
great.
row seats to municipal court. That's another terrible joke, unprofessional joke.
You are the fourth caller. Surprise. Yeah. No, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Chief,
I love coming in here.
And we love having you here, and we really do appreciate your service and all the guys and girls that work at the department.
I will pass that along.
Yeah, please do. And we try to to let people know when y'all are out and about doing great things, because you deserve that.
Thank you.
Police should be your friends. We learned that in grade school,
right.
and it should be that.
We've got some more things planned as we
Good.
Just need more time to get some things going, and so I'll be glad to probably come back and talk about some of those things if you'll have us back sometime.
Oh, you can come back anytime, and if hopefully I don't talk to you about someone blowing themselves up at my place.
Hopefully not.
Because that was fun.
Yes, that was.
It was fun for everyone but him.
Just for everybody's understanding, it was a person who tried to steal what they thought was an inactive electric line behind Archinetti's, and the camera footage shows a bright flash like lightning, and then him stumble out and unsuccessfully stumble out. So we were able to locate him. We did get him appropriately charged, and he is okay. But
he just had a real rough time.
yeah, that was an eye opener watching that footage. So. Nobody was hurt in the making of that footage.
No, they were not.
Well, they were hurt.
They were. And it's not funny. He was not hurt, horribly hurt. He got shocked a bit.
Yes.
And I'm just thankful that we didn't come across something way worse.
Yeah. Didn't it knock one of your coolers out though?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
It was about $3,000 worth of damage.
Yeah. Well.
So, but that's okay. Whatever.
All right.
Yeah. But again, and that's something that he did. I gave him the footage. He figured out who it was and took care of it. So thank you. All right. City of Jackson Police Chief Brett Hinsch, thank you, sir, for spending your morning with us. And absolutely. And if you have any questions about the traffic changes, anything like that, you can call, of course, the city. You can call the police station.
It should be well documented on our Facebook page and the city's Facebook page. And I think I've talked to Pete Wilson and Jeremiah and I think everybody's putting this out there that if you've missed this, then you probably live in a cave. So
pretty much. Well, the next time you come back, I expect you to fill that vest full of toys so that we can play with stuff.
I'll bring some toys.
I want to tase something. James, get over here.
When I was at the Athens Messenger, John Halley, who's the photographer for the Messenger, he let the police tase him one time for a photo op.
Not good.
Not doing that. No.
Have you or
he
have you
He
not?
did get a great photo of himself getting tased, though.
It's terrible.
Have you been tased?
Yes.
I assume that you have to do it to
Yeah,
see
I'm
what
just
it's
glad
like.
they don't make us shoot with the guns and have to take a bullet before we get to use those. But I mean, no, it is miserable. I mean, it's a unique experience, but it just feels like there's 1,000 demons in your body pounding from the inside to try to get out, and it hurts. It hurts badly. But the second the electricity stops, the pain stops. So it's
okay. Let's not play that game.
So I think maybe you should try. We could get that done.
I want to be the taser, not the tasee.
See, this is what I get for saying Jen should get a free haircut. She's gonna tase me.
You can say don't tase me, bro. It's okay. All right. Oh my gosh. We probably ought to get out of this madness now.
All right.
Thank you, Chief. We appreciate
Thanks
you
for
so much. All right. Let's see. We have about a minute left. James, do you want to go over? Do you have the weather there? All right. We'll do that. Thank you, Chief. Be safe out there. Today, so there are heat advisories out for the rest of the week. Just to let you know, it is going to be very hot, very humid out there. So if you are having to be outside, please be very careful. They are calling for today sunshine, highs of 92 degrees, lows of 72, and then 91 tomorrow. Friday, Saturday, kind of the same, upper 80s, but very, very humid and some rain in the forecast then. So just probably not those days that you want to be out, doing all the yard work at, 1:00 in the afternoon. Just be very careful about that. Don't forget, the Gallia County Fair does continue on today with the beef breeding show. They have sheep showmanship this afternoon, the market lambs this afternoon, and also the field stock tractor and semi-pole at the pulling stage at 6:30, and then featured entertainment tonight as well, Exile. And if you don't know Exile, they were, popular back in my time. So a few years ago, but they are awesome. So
You say so.
I do. All right. Well, we'll get out of here for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to Jackson Police Chief Brett Hinsch for taking time out of his day to come and hang with us. And we appreciate him so much, and the rest of all of our law enforcement folks around the community. So have a wonderful day, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.
Bye, guys.